Harrison County now has a team to respond to reports of sexual assault. In 2021, state law started requiring counties to create what's called a sexual assault response team made up of law enforcement, prosecutors, and medical professionals. KLTV7's Alex Weister reports.
Harrison County officials and sexual assault help centers are joining forces to create a sexual assault response team for the county.
We care about our folks here, our victims. We want to make sure that this is a safe place to live and thrive, and if there is a problem, that we get it addressed timely.
One of the groups sees the pairing of county officials and help centers as the most effective way to prevent these crimes.
We want to do whatever we can to keep perpetrators from harming more people in our community, and so bringing different agencies together to work collaboratively and share information is really the best way to try and prevent these crimes from happening.
According to the Children's Advocacy Centers of Texas, 3 out of 5 children who are assaulted never report the sexual abuse. This number of unreported cases, not just in children, but everyone, is something that Stevenson hopes to lessen with this team.
I think we can agree that even just one sexual assault is too many, but when you have dozens of children or adults who are violated every year in that way, it really requires all of the resources that we have to be able to help victims.
For Harrison County Judge Chad Sims, it's about ensuring that justice is brought to those who have committed sexual assault.
Make sure that we're treating the individual that was assaulted, that we're getting them some help, and certainly the justice that they deserve. If we can do our job and make sure those folks are locked up or they can't harm anybody else, I feel like that's exactly what we need to do.
Alex Weister, KLTV7 News.
Now, Sims says the group will meet quarterly to assess needs and response.